Um, yes, I think I've read this social media has some negative impact on teenagers. You're right. I think the one statistics I saw is that the boys do worse than girls at a teen, later stages of teen, where the young girls somehow kind of get over that at later part of the teen, early 20s, but the boys getting actually worse. So that's really difficult to challenge it. It's a new kind of suffering, so to speak, isn't it? It's a new suffering, suffering that comes from innovation. And so I think everything, from my experience, everything uh, depends on balancing, right? Balancing. And so what I think is important is to find some kind of balanced approach for parents and kids together, right? Balanced approach. It's not possible for them not to use any social media, you know. That is not possible at this point, right? We're at this point where you can't really fully stop kids from using them. At the same time, uh, if you cannot reach a healthy way of using the social media, then it can have all those really terrible impacts, right? And so balance approach. First, the balance of time, how much time you spend on social media, okay? So balance of time. And second, the balance of facts, right? Facts. I think it's important to communicate, to have some kind of friendship with our kids, right? As a parent, you know, um, not as like we are parents, we know all, and you're kids, and you don't know, and you have to listen to me, not like that. But as a friend, to have a nice, substantive discussion about fact versus projection, like how much we project, how much people project on you, right? We have a lot of projections about each other, you know. Before social media too, it's there, but after social media, it gets even more tricky, right? Because it's more impersonal. And so easier to project, easier to comment, easier to write things about the other person, you know. And so sometimes we're not even thinking, we're just writing, right? Because we're not facing that person. We're just throwing arrows in the internet, shooting arrows in the internet. Whereas if you're face to face, it's not that easy to say all those things you say online, you know. So there's some kind of factual base there. When you're in person, then there's a dialogue, you know. And so therefore, the first thing is balance of time. That's what I would suggest, right? Both parents and kids finding some kind of common ground to agree on balance of time. Secondly, balance of fact versus projection. Some kind of education we need. We need education both for parents as well as for kids, right? To learn what are the projections and what are the facts. And the third, I think the balance of seeing self-value, right? Self-worth, balance of seeing what are our strength and what are our weaknesses, what are our positive sides and what are our, negative, part of our habitual being. We're all habitual beings. So we have some positive, sometimes a lot of positive stuff. And then, of course, we carry some baggage of negativity, right? That's why, it's not something to be too excited when someone praises you, because there are other people who are also saying negative things. In the same way, you don't have to be so depressed and so upset about some negative comments, because there are other people, plenty of people who are praising, who are seeing your beauty, who are seeing your resilience, And so therefore, if we understand our own self, right, our own self qualities of positivity and negativity, or I don't know how you say the words here, then, It will be much easier when you see a comment, social media thing. Then you know, oh, this is not true, you know. And then others will say like, yeah, maybe it's true, but I'm working on it, right? So I would suggest basically these ways of balancing, and most important of all is to see how much we project. We all project, right? And this is very important. This is key. Projection versus fact.